Making a movie can be a grueling, nightmare-inducing ordeal. Many of you have probably experienced the challenges firsthand while working on short films. However, few behind-the-scenes stories are as complex and chaotic as the one surrounding Twister. Brace yourselves, because while real tornadoes weren't part of the production, they would have been a minor setback compared to the actual mayhem. Before the disputes, mishaps, and controversies, the project was conceived under the guidance of Steven Spielberg and his company, Amblin Entertainment. Seeking a fresh blockbuster in the early 1990s, he focused on a tornado-centered concept he read. The original author of that concept remained anonymous, which later caused issues. To secure funding, Spielberg bypassed the traditional pitch. He contacted Industrial Light and Magic, his preferred effects studio, to explore the possibility of creating a realistic tornado. Creative director Dennis Muren embraced the challenge and initiated a proof of concept. Initially, he filmed a pickup truck driver traversing a Novato, California road. Subsequently, employing software named Dynamation and collaborating with colleagues, he produced a tornado that hurled a tractor, sending a wheel flying into the truck and shattering its windshield. Spielberg was both astonished and frightened by the test. He recognized the potential for a new film, which he named Twister. He swiftly obtained support from Warner Bros. For domestic release and Universal Pictures for international release. The budget was set at $70 million, a substantial amount at the time. With Twister approved, Spielberg required a strong script. He turned to Michael Crichton, a frequent collaborator who had adapted his novel Jurassic Park for the screen and co-created the television series ER. Crichton was drawn to the project because it aligned with his ongoing exploration of the complex relationship between humans, technology, and nature. He crafted the story using two primary inspirations: a documentary about storm chasers, a group dedicated to studying and pursuing tornadoes, and the 1940 romantic comedy His Girl Friday, directed by Howard Hawks. In the film, a former married couple, a newspaper editor, and a reporter reunite for one final assignment before her impending nuptials. Crichton adapted this dynamic, co-writing the script with his wife, actress Anne-Marie Martin. The couple earned a $2.5 million fee for their work, which also included references to The Wizard of Oz, featuring cinema's most famous tornado. The stars of Twister are Joe Thornton, a meteorologist and storm chaser, and Bill Harding, her ex-husband and former colleague. Reunited in Oklahoma to finalize their divorce, they remain connected by a shared obsession with extreme weather. Joe has also created a groundbreaking machine called Dorothy, intended to research tornadoes and develop a cutting-edge alert system that could save countless lives. Alongside Joe's team, the former partners embark on their most perilous adventure yet. With Crichton and Martin's script in hand, the filmmakers searched for a director who could handle large-scale visual effects without sacrificing the story or characters. Spielberg was interested in directing but had other projects and ended up staying on as producer. He considered giving the job to his friends John Badham and Robert Zemeckis. Tim Burton and James Cameron were also in the running. After a challenging search, Jan de Bont was chosen to helm the film. Born in the Netherlands, de Bont started his career as a cinematographer. He worked with director Paul Verhoeven and, like him, moved to Hollywood in the 1980s. His work on Die Hard made him a sought-after cinematographer for action films. He got his big break as a director with Speed. This blockbuster starring Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock launched de Bont's career. Sony Pictures hired him to direct the first Hollywood Godzilla movie, but he left the project due to budget conflicts. De Bont was excited about the Twister script. He likened it to the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, where monstrous forces emerge from the unknown. Rather than a fantasy approach, he chose to amplify the script's grounded realism. To achieve this, he opted for practical effects, shooting on location as he had done on Speed. He believed Twister would be the final big-budget action film shot primarily outdoors. With a script and director in place, casting began. Tom Hanks, fresh off his Oscar wins for Philadelphia, and Forrest Gump, was offered the role of Bill. He participated in script readings and costume fittings, but left the project during pre-production. With Tom Hanks out, the filmmakers urgently searched for a new leading man. Michael Keaton and Kurt Russell were considered, but Bill Paxton ultimately won the role. Known for both independent films and big-budget blockbusters, Paxton typically played supporting roles. He had previously co-starred with Hanks in Apollo 13. While Paxton was charismatic and talented, de Bont remained uncertain. Then, Cameron, who had stayed in touch with Amblin, spoke up. Having directed Paxton in most of his films, he wholeheartedly recommended him. De Bont was certain Helen Hunt, known for the sitcom Mad About You, should play Joe. Executives were hesitant, as Hunt had limited experience in leading film roles. Even Hunt questioned her fit for a special effects-driven action film. Determined, de Bont arranged a meeting with Hunt and Spielberg, and by the end, Hunt agreed to join the Twister cast. Meanwhile, the production was completing the casting process. Philip Seymour Hoffman, known for theater and independent films, was cast as Dusty, the enthusiastic storm chaser. Uninterested in blockbusters, Hoffman accepted the role primarily for financial reasons, as he wanted to move from Los Angeles to New York City. With the cast in place, the focus shifted to the film's true stars, the tornadoes. While Murin didn't directly supervise visual effects, he selected Stefan Fangmeyer, another industrial light and magic colleague, as visual effects supervisor. Fangmeyer's experience creating tornado simulations for storm chasers at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications in 1987 made him uniquely qualified. Twister boasted a top-tier Hollywood team, director, actors, and visual effects artists. However, the executives at Amblin were not happy with the script. They brought in script doctors, writers who charge hefty fees to rewrite others' work. Steven Spielberg, who penned Spielberg's Schindler's List, was the first choice. Weeks before filming began, he was replaced by Joss Whedon, known for his work on Speed. But Whedon had to leave for personal reasons. Jeff Nathanson, a less experienced writer, joined the project and remained until filming ended. De Bont demanded energetic dialogue to capture the thrill of storm chasing. Despite numerous rewrites, Crichton and Martin retained sole writing credit. Despite all of the script revisions, production of Twister was ready to start. The team considered locations in California and the United Kingdom, but De Bont insisted on shooting in Oklahoma for the desired realism. The crew relocated and began preparations. But then, something unthinkable occurred on April 19, 1995. A bomb exploded at Oklahoma City's Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. The Twister production was halted as the shaken crew dedicated themselves to helping. The production donated to victims and rebuilding efforts and organized charity events. One initiative allowed citizens to visit the set and meet the cast. After Oklahoma and the nation regained a sense of normalcy, Twister resumed filming in May. De Bont and his team hoped for a smoother production this time, but they would soon be proven wrong. Weather proved the first major challenge. Constant rain created flooding and mud, only for the sun to appear shortly after. This unpredictable climate forced De Bont to schedule 3 different scene setups daily. This strategy led to the first conflict with cinematographer Don Burgess. Frequent equipment moves caused filming delays. To the crew, De Bont seemed unprepared. Challenges escalated. To simulate tornado winds, the director brought in wind machines and Boeing 707 turbines. The deafening noise prevented communication, so the director devised a sign language system but soon realized nobody on the crew understood it. During the 5th week, a crucial scene was planned. The director signaled the camera assistant, who failed to respond, ruining the shot. Enraged, De Bont pushed the assistant. Burgess intervened, confronting the director, who kept insulting assistant and the whole crew. Burgess wouldn't tolerate the insults and resigned, taking his team with him. A new cinematographer, Jack N. Green, soon joined the production. His arrival brought a sense of calm to the set. However, this tranquility was shattered just 2 days before filming was scheduled to wrap. The remaining sequence involved Joe and Bill rescuing a girl and her dog from a destroyed house. The house was designed to collapse using hydraulics at a specific point in the scene, but it unexpectedly collapsed prematurely. The falling roof struck Green in the head and back, forcing him to be hospitalized and preventing his return. With no other options, director De Bont took over the lighting duties for the final scenes. The director also had a difficult relationship with the actors. To create the look of a stormy sky behind the main characters, he had powerful lights set up. The first time the lights were turned on, Paxton and Hunt were temporarily blinded. When De Bont yelled, "Cut!" they tried to leave for their trailers, but couldn't see. The producers quickly called an eye doctor, who diagnosed the actors with temporary vision loss and advised them to avoid the lights. For several days, they had to use eye drops and wear dark sunglasses. By the time they could return to work, the crew had installed a filter on the lights. Hunt and Paxton also endured a difficult time filming the scene where they escaped the first tornado. At one point, they had to take shelter in a ditch that the location scout deemed unsafe due to unsanitary conditions. They were immediately given a hepatitis shot. Filming the climax of the movie was even riskier. Hunt had to open a car door while driving through a cornfield. She accidentally let go for a second and hit her head, giving herself a concussion. De Bont later said in an interview that he loved Hunt, but that she could be a little careless. Upset, the actress replied, "Careless? The guy burned my eyes, but I'm the careless one?" During this time, she was under a lot of stress. Twister was falling behind schedule, so she couldn't go back to filming Mad About You, and the show's producers wanted her there. Although De Bont was disliked by the crew and actors, Spielberg continued to support him. He admired De Bont's ability to handle difficulties and finish the film. Post-production went more smoothly. At Industrial Light and Magic, Fangmeyer and his team worked seamlessly with de Bont to create incredibly lifelike tornadoes. Editing progressed without major issues until the music phase. And yes, even the music was problematic, leading to a breakup of a famous 1980s rock band due to conflicts with the composer. Mark Mancina, who had previously worked with de Bont on Speed, was chosen to compose the film's score. He followed the director's vision, watched an early cut of the film, and recorded music with an orchestra. However, when he saw the completed film, he found that a lot of his work had been removed or used differently than expected. Only 42 minutes of his original music remained. Part of that decision had to do with the production, deciding to include songs by popular artists and bands. They specifically hired the rock band Van Halen to record several tracks. Brothers Eddie and Alex Van Halen created Respect the Wind, an instrumental piece for the end credits. For the main song, the musicians asked de Bont if it should be about tornadoes, but he declined. Singer Sammy Hagar watched film clips and wrote Humans Being. The Van Halen brothers disliked the lyrics because they were filled with global warming metaphors. Eddie made changes Hagar reluctantly accepted. Despite recording the song and appearing in the music video, Hagar left the band, marking the end of their long-standing disagreements. Twister had become a series of setbacks, and the media was quick to report on them. Undeterred, de Bont, Hunt, and Paxton actively promoted the film leading up to its May 10, 1996 release. Despite mixed reviews, Twister was a box office hit. Audiences were captivated by the tornadoes and the film's thrilling pace. It earned $495 million worldwide and was the second highest-grossing film of the year. Twister's success appeared to overshadow the previous challenges. However, as I mentioned earlier, Spielberg had been inspired by a tornado-focused script treatment. Soon after Twister's release, Amblin faced multiple plagiarism lawsuits. Daniel Perkins was the first to claim that Twister was based on his 1989 screenplay, Tornado Chasers, which featured tornadoes used as military weapons. Legal teams from both sides negotiated a confidential settlement. Stephen B. Kessler took a more aggressive approach, asserting that Amblin and other studios had stolen ideas from his 1991 screenplay, Catch the Wind. The case went to trial with Spielberg, Crichton, Martin, and representatives from Universal and Warner testifying. Overwhelmed by the evidence, Kessler lost the case. Twister's enduring popularity transcended the challenges it faced during production. The film became a classic, leaving audiences eager for a sequel. After years of speculation, Twisters was released. It serves as a continuation of the original story with a new cast of characters. Spielberg returned as producer, and this time, production was notably smoother. Twister created the most realistic tornadoes ever seen on film, but the production was a chaotic mix of challenges, conflicts, and accidents. It demonstrates how the difficulties of filmmaking often surpass even the most experienced Hollywood professionals, and how these challenges are rarely hidden by the final product's success.
There is no movie more disgusting than Pink Flamingos. This competition of revolting characters redefined the concept of bad taste, but attracted many